What's up and welcome to another episode of Football Everyday, coming to you live and direct from Studio V here at the One Thomas Shopping Centre. Football Everyday is of course brought to you by Maybank Premier Account. My name is Nelsen and joining me today is Shebby Singh. Great to have you back, bro.
Happy New
Year to you. And a special guest, Maybank customer, Mr. Najib, Muhammad Najib, of course.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming here as well. Before we start, of course, it's customary here on Football Everyday that we ask our special guests, which team you support and why.
Oh, okay. Basically, I just love to watch good football.
Right.
What team it is, it doesn't matter. But I've been following Chelsea since the Gullit days.
Blues fan, chaps.
Yeah, and I'm still in my personal time would still watch them and then support for them. I watch for them. Just that I'm not out there claiming that I'm Chelsea fan and stuff like that.
He's a fan, not fanatic.
Exactly, that's true.
But I mean, who's your favorite player then? I mean, Chelsea at the moment.
I have to say John Terry,
right,
and also Frank Lampard. But I do remember that Frank Lampard, the first year that he came in, he was very bad.
Yeah.
Slow and stuff. The second year and it started to boom.
Great stuff. Well, as we know, it was FA Cup weekend last weekend, and everyone knows that the shock result was, of course, Man United's loss at home to Leeds United. Sheps, not the best United performance for sure, but they did they deserve to lose?
Yes.
I mean, looking at some of the chances, they
deserve to lose. I'm sorry, Nelson.
Yeah.
I don't have any soothing balm for your wounds, but I'm going to add on more salt to the wounds because I thought the approach was wrong. I thought, when I looked at the lineup, and I'm sure Simon Grayson in the Leeds United team was also thinking, we can win this game. Yes, you have got two class strikers in Rooney and Berbatov, but what about the midfield?
Yeah.
I thought Gibson and Anderson in midfield, in central midfield, Welbeck on the left, Obertan on the right. I mean, anybody would have looked at that midfield and said, we have a chance.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what happened. Leeds saw that and Leeds ran midfield and Leeds deserved to win.
So I got to ask you this. I mean, look, if you're a player who's not an automatic starter in a team, right, and you get a rare chance to start a game like the one against Leeds, I mean, surely that's when you've got to step up and show what you're capable of, right, Chaps? I think, as you said, people like Gibson, Obertan, and even Welbeck, I think didn't step up on the night.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. The thinking behind that is, these young boys, let's put them together. They will perform. But don't forget, you're performing in front of 75,000 people at Old Trafford.
That's right.
There is more pressure playing at home than it is away. Believe me, at home there's more pressure. And these boys, how many times have they all played together in the same midfield? I'll tell you, never. You don't form a team like that. If they don't have an understanding, they've not played together as a group, it's never going to be possible. And these are the big mistakes that Sir Alex Ferguson has been making, not only against Leeds United, but this season.
Right, got to agree with you there, Sheps. I mean, I've got to ask you very quickly, your thoughts on the current Leeds side, Sheps. I mean, you think they're on the right track to getting back to where they were?
I think it was a great result. I think in the fourth round, they're going to lose to Spurs.
I mean, in general, Sheps, you think the club's in good shape with Simon Grayson, Jermaine Beckford?
Still a long way to go. I think they will lose Beckford sooner or later, but I still think there's a long way to go for them.
Right. Well, other results saw Chelsea easily beat Watford 5-0. I'm sure Najib's a happy man. While Arsenal came from behind to knock out West Ham 2-1. Najib, I've got to ask you very quickly on Arsenal.
Sure.
Eduardo looks to be coming back to his best for Arsenal. Do you think the Gunners can win something this season?
I think Arsenal, they have some, I guess Arsene Wenger have built their team in that manner for quite a long time. From one season to another, they will keep on
at a certain level.
And they, at one point, if they do the things right, the injuries is not there, definitely they can always be among the top three.
Sheps, you agree with Najib?
I agree with Najib. I mean, every season you have seen the progress, the improvement. It's just a matter of time before they start winning trophies.
I could ask you also very quickly, do you agree with Arsene Wenger saying that United might actually benefit from the FA Cup exit in the Champions League?
Well, I mean, you always try to look at the positives and think, now that there's less matches to play, so there will be better preparation time for the Champions League, for the league. But I mean, you got to prove it though.
And I'm sure Fergie will be disappointed, right? Seeing as the history, the successive history he's had in the FA Cup.
Yeah, right? Manchester United, you are Manchester, you have to be disappointed at any loss, and it should hurt even more if you lose at home.
Right, great stuff. And very quickly, Najib, you think Liverpool can beat Reading? They drew 1-1 in the first leg. Will they finish it at home in front of their home fans?
Yeah, of course. I mean, though they are not
Convincing enough,
they
right?
didn't win the first match. I believe they will in the second what you call it, replay of the second match.
Nice one, man. But it is time for our first break here on Football Everyday, brought to you by Maybank Premier Account. But do stay tuned, as we'll be right back before you know it with more football chat and banter, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Football Everyday, brought to you by Maybank Premier Accounts, with me, Nelsen, and of course Shebby, and our special guest today, Muhammad Najib. The FA Cup's done and dusted for now, at least. So let's get back to the BPL as it resumes this weekend, starting with Chelsea at Hull City. Najib, this seems like a tough run of games for Phil Brown's side. Having consecutively played Arsenal, Man United, Bolton, and now Chelsea. So should they brace themselves for a blue onslaught this weekend? You think?
You ask me, then I think I will say that of course Chelsea will win. I mean, though that Chelsea will miss Asians and Drogba's service for this week, but I think Ancelotti knows best. He's one of the best coaches out there, and then he even can bet that he doesn't want to buy another even player. That what they have now is good for him. So I believe since Hull
aren't exactly up there.
I think Chelsea will.
Right. I mean, Shebs, I got to ask you, following on from what Najib said, I mean, Drogba, Kalu, and Essien are all away. I think Mikel as well, at the African Nations Cup. But are players like Daniel Sturridge good enough to fill their shoes, you think?
I don't think so. I think we've seen Daniel Sturridge struggle in the Premier League, although he scored against Watford, but it was only Watford. I think it will be difficult for him to get among the goals. I think they will have problems trying to fill that defensive midfield position. They've tried Michael Ballack in that position; it hasn't worked. They will possibly try Giuliano Belletti in that position. Again, you don't have natural players in their natural positions, so I think it could be a bit difficult. I'm going to put my head on the chopping block and say I think Hull can get a draw.
Wow, I hope you're right, but I mean, Najib, give me a score prediction in this one.
Not about 1-0.
1-0 to Chelsea?
1-0, yep.
That's close.
Close enough, yeah. Meanwhile,
don't have the firepower to go further than that. They have to fortify the defense, I guess.
Right. Meanwhile, in-form Arsenal welcome Everton in what should be another exciting contest. I mean, Sheps, Everton are having a poor season by their standards, compared to the last two seasons, I'd say, right? But can you see them possibly getting a result at the Emirates?
No, I don't see them getting a result. I think they will run Arsenal close. I think Arsenal will have a game on their hands. Everton, for me, I think are beginning now to come good. I mean, they're getting players back from injury. Now, the important thing is, whenever we talk about David Moyes and Everton, we've always spoken about work ethics. Hard-working, well-organized teams. But since, they've got Fellaini, they've got Pina, they fancy themselves as a bit of a footballing team. And somewhere in between, they get caught. So I would suggest that they go back to their work ethics. But still, you got to look at Arsenal as being the informed team. Arsenal a narrow win.
Right. I mean, Najib, you agree with
Yeah,
Shebby? Because I've actually gone with a draw in my tip-top prediction for this week.
Because you want the you want the draw with that
Man United.
So you agree with Shebby?
Yeah, I think I have to
Arsenal
agree with
win?
that. Arsenal would beat Everton.
Yeah, so let's get a score prediction from you again.
2-0.
2-0?
Yeah.
You can join our TikTok column, man, if he gets it right. Yeah. Okay, time now for our email of the week, which comes from Kyril, who's a Man United fan. Guys, Kyril feels that Dimitar Berbatov really hasn't justified his high price so far, and doesn't put in half the work ethic that Carlos Tevez did before. I mean, Shebs, after the loss to Leeds, a friend of mine actually said the same thing, I tell you, coincidentally. He made the same comment about Berba, so would you say it's still not fair to judge the guy? Or you think his style simply doesn't suit United?
Look, I have always been a big fan of Dimitar Berbatov. I think he's one of the most intelligent and skillful strikers in the English Premier League. He showed that at Spurs. He's done enough for Man United. He's got a league championship medal. He played in took the team to the Champions League final. I think, this sentiment is influenced by the journalists. Dimitar Berbatov doesn't do enough. No, he never did enough. What is enough? Running around like a headless chicken like Carlos Tevez? Why didn't Sir Alex Ferguson keep Carlos Tevez? You buy a certain player for his intelligence, for his skills. Unfortunately, as I've said, the problems are in midfield for Man United. Rooney and Berbatov up front with a rubbish midfield against Leeds United, nothing is going to work. He needs an intelligent passer of the ball to feed him. So for me, we'll have Dimitar Berbatov back anytime.
Right. Great stuff, Chefs. More chat on United after the break. So thanks for the nice email, Khairul. For your efforts, you've picked up a nice prize courtesy of Adidas. And if you're a Maybank customer, do let us know. And you'll also take home a Maybank pack consisting of a Maybank bag and an Adidas Premium. To write to us as well, drop us a line at football@thestar.com.my. But it is time here for our second break here on the show. So do stay tuned as we'll be right back with more football chat and banter on Football Everyday, brought to you by Maybank Premier Accounts. And you're back with us on the third and final segment of today's show, where we're previewing this weekend's tasty fixtures. Before the break, we were of course speaking about Man United, and they travelled to inform Birmingham, looking to bounce back from the shock defeat to Leeds. And Sheps, what kind of changes do you see Fergie making for this one?
I think he's got to find his best midfield, and you've got to play Fletcher and Michael Carrick. Look, I don't understand why he doesn't play Carrick, because Carrick is the only one who's got this range of passing that can set off Rooney and Berbatov. So he'll have to sort that out. Play Park Ji-sung on the left, Antonio Valencia on the right, on that four-man midfield, because I think that's their best midfield. Valencia, Carrick, Fletcher and Park Ji-sung. Rooney and Berbatov up front, they shouldn't have any problems.
Right, so it's Alex versus Alex, Sheps. So who's it going to be? Can you see the Blues' great unbeaten run continuing, or end of the day, will United, if the real United show up, will they be too good for Birmingham?
It will be a narrow win for Man United. But Birmingham are the team in form. They are playing extremely well. They're extremely well organised. They play very similar to what Fulham play. Fulham beat Man United 3-0. Of course, we will not get that scoreline. But I still, think that Man United will come away with something.
Najib, you agree? United going to win?
Yep, I think so too.
I hope both of you are right. Okay, moving on to Anfield, where Liverpool play host to Shebby's beloved Spurs. Najib, the Reds will have revenge on the line, while Harry Redknapp's men are actually playing some of their best football so far this season. So what kind of a game are you looking forward to in this one?
I'm sure this is going to be an explosive game. These two teams, though Liverpool is not there in the top four, but definitely their play. They can play as among the top four stature. So I guess with the game on between Spurs and Liverpool, I'm sure this is going to be a good one.
Exciting, I hope it's going to be a good game. Sheps, your thoughts on this matchup?
I agree with Najib. I think this is going to be exciting because Liverpool at home will have to attack. Spurs love to play attacking football. There could be a lot of goals in this, but I'll be, of course, secretly hoping that Spurs can score more goals than Liverpool.
On current form, you think all Liverpool boys, Peter Crouch and Robbie Keane, will have something to say?
I think they will give the Liverpool defense, a lot of problems. So yes, I might be jinxing my own team, but I'm going to go with Spurs winning away from home.
So you're saying that Spurs can actually do a double over Rafa's boys?
There's no reason for why Spurs can't win this game.
Alright, great stuff. Well, another notable game on Tuesday morning sees Manchester City face Blackburn. Najib, you think Roberto Mancini will get his third straight win from this one?
So far, it looks promising. He managed to show us that their defensive line is a bit better than
what Mark Hughes
previous managers. I guess I think City also can win this game with Blackburn.
Right. Shebs, I mean, Blackburn have been somewhat inconsistent to say the least, right? I mean, so, you know, can you see them giving City a run for their money?
No, I'm looking at Roque Santa Cruz. I hope that Mancini will give him a chance. He will definitely score.
Put a few over
yes,
his old
Blackburn
team.
have a problem of scoring goals,
Yeah.
and I'm with Najib on this. I think Man City should win this easily.
Score prediction then?
I'm going to go with 2-0.
2-0. Great stuff, guys. But just before we leave you, this week's Football Everyday fun fact is on the man whose goal knocked Man United out of the FA Cup, Leeds United striker Jermaine Beckford. Did you know, guys, that his goal against United was his 20th of the season? And Shebs, Newcastle have declared their interest in Beckford, so you think he'd be a good buy for them?
I think what is
Or for
important.
anyone, in fact.
I think what is important is for Beckford now to make that step up slowly, you know, because for him now to be in the Championship,
Right.
to go up into the Premier League could be a big problem. So it is good that if he goes to Newcastle, who are in the
Right.
one tier
Yeah,
below the
division,
Premier League, and then try to play in the Premier League. So I think that'll be a good move for him.
Right, and I think he's about like what, 26, 27, so just the right age to peak.
Yeah, I think so, because and Newcastle are doing well. So go into a team that is playing well, then it becomes easier to settle in.
Yeah.
Right, great stuff, guys. Najib,
All right.
Shebs, pleasure as always, guys.
Likewise.
Thanks for
Same
being here today. That's about it for this week's edition of Football Everyday, brought to you by Maybank Account. Till we see you next week, enjoy your football. Happy New Year once again, and we'll see you soon. Ciao.